Hello, I'm Ruthie Renee, certified clinical hypnotherapist. I've put together a group course that I've named Create Your Reality, a self-hypnosis course. I did that because what I found over and over again with my clients is that I spend a large part of the time teaching so that eventually you know how to do the work on your own and you don't have to continue to come pay my premium price for the one-on-one sessions. I've seen great results for my clients that work together in a group. Not only do they get the training, that the same kind of training that I got to be a certified clinical hypnotherapist, but they also have the camaraderie of one another, and they've been able to find their own answers through watching their peers in the course learn things, have their aha moments, share the stories. So what I've done with this mini course is I've extracted what I call the manifestation model, and you're going to get the training on how the model works, which will help about 97% of the time with all of your issues, problems, whatever you want to call them, that keep coming up in life, holding you back from the reality that you want. After I do the training, I'm going to go ahead and give you a sneak peek on what it actually looks like to be a part of that course. So I'm going to give you the model, teach you all about it, and then you'll get to see well, it's kind of one-on-one, but the group is watching. So there's a large group that I have on Zoom, and I'm specifically working with one client, and there's a little bit of feedback from other students in the class. So I hope that you enjoy it. Take as many notes as you want. And then if you find the content valuable, share the link that you were given to your friends, to your family, anybody that you think this might benefit. Enjoy it. Use it. Open your mind, put your doubts on the shelf for just an hour and play around with these new ideas. Some of them might be things you've already heard. Some of them may be brand new and a stretch for your mind to go around. You're going to have more benefit if you can shelf any negativity or doubts for just an hour, and then use that model to go back in and figure out if these things are even something that you want to believe in, or if not, you can toss them out. No harm done. All right, let's dive right in. So, manifesting. Manifesting, what does that even mean? Manifesting or manifestation is really just the idea of taking an idea, something in our imagination, something ethereal, and creating it into something tangible, into a reality, into something that's actually here on this earth. That doesn't mean it's necessarily like tangible that you can touch. It might be creating an emotion or feeling or a disposition, personality. So there are many things that we can create that we do all the time with manifesting. I would guess that if you're like the majority of humans, you want to be happy, you want to feel peace, you want to feel successful, you want to have good relationships, whether those relationships are with a significant other, with parents, with children, with siblings, with co-workers, with money, with time. Everything is relationship. But we want to have good ones. We want to feel good when we show up in life, right? Is that what you're feeling? Now, how much of those desires are actually manifested in your life already? My guess is that you're missing a few pieces, and that's why you're here. That's why you've purchased this course. So I'm going to break down how it works, and then we'll look at each step and figure out where along the way you might need some tweaking or some shifting so that you start creating the life you want rather than living in default and allowing your subconscious mind or your programs from whoever knows how long to create or manifest the reality that you're living in. All right, so first off, we have to have a starting place, right? So we start with my reality as it is right now in the moment. And that is the fact. That's the fact line. So if we're going to write this out on a piece of paper or in your phone, however it's going to be, you're going to start with the facts. Now, the facts sometimes can get tricky for us because we love to make up stories as humans. It's just the way our minds work, and it's normal and it's okay and it's actually very helpful. But seeing where the facts are and where the feelings are can make a huge difference. So I want to be very clear that the facts, the reality of the way life is, that's the circumstance of the matter. That's where you just want, it is what it is. Okay? It's something that you can prove in a court of law. So if you want to say, my life sucks, that's my reality right now, that's what I feel, and so I'm going to put that in my reality. My life sucks. Is there anybody on the planet that could take you to court to prove otherwise, that your life doesn't suck? This is where we get into weighing what is and what that means. What is and what it means. What do I mean by that? Everything is relative, right? So maybe not everything, but almost everything is relative. If I say my life sucks because I'm single, in fact, I just got married, so that's not the case. But maybe for many people, I can say my life sucks because I'm not married to the right person. I don't like who I'm married to. I'm stuck in this marriage. Okay, so if that is what I think my reality is, somebody else could take me to the court of law and say, you're eating, you have a bed, you have shelter, you have a job, point out your significant other, your spouse doesn't abuse you. Like there could be so many things that people could use in a court of law to prove opposite of what I was saying. So I give you that just so that you can understand and be very clear that when you start your I am, your reality as it is now, you want to only have the facts, no emotion attached, okay? Hope you understand that. Now we're going to move on to what we believe. So I believe is wrapped in with our imagination, right? It's not a fact. It's a thought. It's what I believe is going to go in the thought line because it's relative. I think differently than you think. And then we can add emotions to that and it can get sticky. So it's changeable, all right? So going back, we start with the fact and then our thoughts about that fact. So just to make it a little bit easier for you to follow, I'm going to go ahead and create a fictitious circumstance as if it is a fact, so that we can see something that's relatable and follow it all the way through the model. Okay, so most of us have dealt with the irritation of being stuck in traffic. So I'm going to just go there. That's something we can all figure out or relate to, right? So I wouldn't say I'm stuck in traffic, because do you see where somebody could fight me on that? Somebody could say, well, you're not actually stuck in traffic. You're just going really slow. You're going 20 miles an hour. You're supposed to be going 65, but you're not stuck. You are moving. So we want to get very, very focused down to the actual facts. So what I'm going to write here in the fact line is I'm driving 20 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone. Okay? That is a fact. A cop could trigger me with his little tool thingy and clock that I am going 20 miles an hour. All right? So that's the fact. The next step is the thought. What do I think about going 20 miles an hour in 65 mile per hour zone? I'm going to say, because this has happened to me many times, I'm sure you can relate, I'm going to say, my thought is, this sucks. I'm going to be late for work, or maybe I'm coming home from work and I'm going to be late picking up the kids from the sitters. I'm going to be late making dinner. My whole day is now messed up because I'm stuck in traffic and it sucks. Okay, so that's my thought. My thought, it sucks. Now, the next piece is what I feel about it. I have my fact. That is what my I am. That's what our reality is, what we're grounded in. And if you are weird like me and you follow the chakras, I've outlined this in red, the first one, fact. I flip around a little bit, so try to stay with me. I apologize up front. Okay, so the I am is in red because it also relates with our grounding, our root chakra. So we want to be grounded in our reality. Do you ever feel like you're not grounded? Do you feel like you're just a space cadet? You're like, it's hard to think, it's hard to grasp that this reality you're living is really your life? If something seems off, chances are it's because your reality is not aligned with what you want it to be, with who you are on the inside. It makes a difference. So then we have our fact, shift into the thought. Our thoughts are up in our imagination, it's up in the head, it's up in our crown chakra. So this is where our knowing, our beliefs are. And so that's the thought line. The next one is the feeling, what I feel, and that's down in our sacral chakra. And this is our ability to express the thoughts. Our thoughts are expressed through our emotions, and that's down our sacral chakra. And this also has a physical response. Every feeling or emotion has a physical response. Have you ever noticed that? Think about it for a moment. In fact, we're going to pause here and try this out. I want you to loosen your shoulders a little bit. Allow your eyes to close if that helps you get in touch with your imagination. And I want you to think of something happy. Think of a time in your life when you were so thrilled. When were you the happiest? Was it with someone you love? Was it an exciting adventure? Was it having your first baby, your first kiss? What just brings a huge amount of joy into your body? Okay, now while you have that thought, notice where the feeling is. Where are you feeling the excitement? I feel it in my chest. It feels like fireworks, little tiny fireworks are starting to go off. And if I amplify that emotion, if I can think, oh my gosh, this is happening right now, then I start to get, I don't know if you can see that, but I start to get chills on my arms and on my legs. You guys, nothing is happening right now. I'm just sitting here talking to you, but just thinking about something exciting, I cause a physical response in my body. Okay, now that can also go to the dark side. If you are in a state of where you can handle a little bit of sad emotion, I want you to go with me here. If you're dealing with a lot of depression or anxiety, just listen. You can figure it out without actually feeling it. But if you feel like you're in a safe place to feel all the feels, then go with me on this journey. Okay, now flip. You've probably already figured out we're going into sadness now. Sadness or grief. The first thing that comes to my mind is the moment when I was getting ready for my wedding to marry this man of my dreams, my childhood sweetheart that I've been in love with since I was 16. We're getting married finally. And my mom's not there because she passed away 12 years ago. And I can feel the pit in my stomach and in my heart. And I can feel my voice getting shaky. I can feel where if I let go, tears would well up in my eyes. Again, I can feel the response on my skin as I remember that sorrow that I wasn't able to share that most beautiful experience with my mother. Okay, where did you feel it in your body? Deep breath. Breathe. Let's bring ourselves back to homeostasis, okay? Right here with me. Okay, I want you to look at my eyes for a moment. Do you see what color my eyes are? Do you see how my nose is a little crooked? Now you're not going to be able to unsee that. Sorry about that. Okay, I want to bring your mind forward. So you're with me. You're not stuck in that memory or the whatever you pulled up for grief and sadness. But did you notice that you could feel a physical response? I hope that you did. Now, as you go throughout the next few days, I want you to just be aware. Open up the awareness that, oh, okay, my body does have a physical response to everything I feel. And that's based on what I'm thinking. That's all. You're just going to figure it out and link. See, how does that feel? I know for me, when I have anxiety and stress, I feel it in my gut. You want to know why so many people have gut issues in our country besides all of the terrible food and whatever things we're eating? But some people live on McDonald's and Diet Coke and alcohol for their whole lives, and they're still pretty healthy. And then other people will eat such a balanced, healthy diet and they still have gut issues. Why? Because our gut is so closely linked to our brain, and you get in that fight or flight and you're going to feel it in your body. Your digestion is the first thing to shut down when you're caught in that sympathetic state of mind, that sympathetic nervous system, the fight or freeze or flight. It shows up in your gut. So, sorry, that's like just, I almost can't help myself with just sharing more information than I needed. So I'm going right back in. I'm going to do my best to stay focused on this manifestation flow chart. If you are interested in learning more, because there's so much to learn, let me know by the end of this course. You can let me know that you want me to save you a spot in my next 8-week course, which I'll get into later. Okay, so we're here in emotions, and we know it's a physical response. We feel in our body what we're thinking about and the way we think about it. Okay, agree? So far so good? All right, now we're moving on to the action. Now, based on what we're feeling, is going to determine what we do or don't do. Because sometimes action is inaction or reaction. Okay, so going back to the model of I'm stuck in traffic, the fact is I'm moving 20 miles per hour, and my thought is that sucks. And my physical response is that I'm angry. I'm feeling angry now that this has happened to me. I feel heat on my neck. I feel tightness in my stomach. I want to swear. I want to like shake my hand at people. And it's no wonder everybody around me is frustrated and honking their horns, because we're sharing a collective feeling of irritation. Okay? Now, when I feel that way, when I think that way and I feel that way, I'm going to be just like what I just said. I'm going to be a little more testy. I'm going to be closer to the tail of the person in front of me because I want them to move. I'm just like, I know that there's a car in front of them, and still I just want them to get out of my way. Can you just everybody get out of my way so I can get to my destination? I'm feeling a little bit selfish. I'm going to be punchy on the gas and the brake. I might be honking my horn. I might be saying things that aren't very nice. If my sweetheart calls, or one of my kids call, or even a best friend calls in the middle of this, I might launch into a dissertation about how it sucks. Have you ever done that? Have you ever had a completely horrible day and you just can't keep it to yourself, so you throw up all the emotions onto whoever is around you? We also have that whole kick the dog syndrome, where dad has a terrible day at work. He comes home and he yells at mom. Mom then yells at the kid who is late for helping out setting the table for dinner, and the kid then gets upset and he goes and he kicks the dog for no reason. The dog was just sitting there. That's what I'm talking about here. When we react from a place of unconscious behavior rather than being conscious in our conscious frontal lobe about what we want, sometimes we show up less than what or who we want to be. Would you agree? Okay, so we have that there, and based on what our actions are, or I do, which sets in our sacral chakra. So our action, the what, and that, and also that's in your stomach region. So when you're dealing with anxiety and a lot of fear to step outside of your comfort zone, things like that, that's all in the sacral chakra, because we are people that like to do things. We like to be busy. We want our work to be out there. We want our creations to be out there. We want to show the world what we can do. And when we stop ourselves, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good in there. So our reactions, we already went over that. Then create or manifest our new reality. Who we are, what we gain, who we show up as. So with this model so far, what are we manifesting? In this model, I am feeling, the fact is that I'm going 20 miles an hour. The thought is, this sucks. And so after I think that and I feel that and I do that, then what I manifest is, this still really sucks. More of the same. So now I'm angry and I'm still going 20 miles an hour and nothing's changed, right? So how many of you are used to this loop? It's every day you think, okay, today's going to be a better day. Or you may think, how am I going to get through this day? You're just trying to cope with life. And then you get to the point where it's just on repeat. You're on that hamster wheel going round and round and round. You're right here and you want to get to here, but you get to that wall and you're stopped and you go back to the beginning. On repeat, you're spinning your wheels, right? Okay, so this is one model. This is one model of the manifestation flow. Did somebody else create your reality in the car going 20 miles an hour? Did somebody force upon you the feelings of angst, of frustration, or maybe you wouldn't react that way. So did anybody force me to feel that way and to then show up that way? And maybe even I create an accident because I'm so punchy on the gas and the brake that somebody in front of me stopped fast and I was riding too close. So now I've created an accident. Let's say that's my new reality. Did anybody else force that? No. That was me. I created that. I manifested that reality. Okay, so now let's go back and take it slower and see what could be. To do this, I have a question for you. So when we're looking at things that we do in life and things that we want to change, because there's so many, oh my gosh, with the world of social media, we can see memes, we can see quotes, we can see classes, courses, seminars. Everybody has an idea of how to change your life, right? Now, when you think about these, okay, so they're spelled out now. We've got our facts, our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, and our manifestation. And interestingly enough, that starts with the F team. That comes, it's the F. So we have the F team. Where in this model is the place that you need to focus on to create a new reality? Which line is it? Usually, and what I've seen in the courses and the books and the things that I've read, it's usually we're focused on the action line. If you want something new, you have to do something new, right? To have something different, you need to do something differently. That is, at least years ago when I started coming up with seeing things a different way, that was my belief. I just have to do more. I have to work harder to attain what I want. Oh my goodness, those were some days full of headaches and disappointment and frustration, because the more I tried to do differently or to do more or to change me, it just wasn't happening. Yeah, you can grit your teeth and just move through it and make it, but at some point I fall back into the cycle of who I've always been. Why? Because that's the programming that I have in my subconscious mind. Now, break away for a moment. We have our conscious mind and we have our subconscious mind. And in fact, this is one of my favorite ways to see it. This is our brain. We've got our brain here, and this in here is like I'm gonna relate to our subconscious, but also we have our amygdala. It's our primal brain. It's our fighter, the action where you don't have to think about it. This is the part that pumps your heart. This is the part that keeps you breathing. That anything, once you've learned it, it becomes automatic. This is where the automatic behaviors are. And then on top of that, we have our frontal cortex. And this is our decision making, our thinking, our critical thinking mind. Have you ever experienced a time, maybe a circumstance, maybe in the middle of traffic, where you flip your lid and you can't think clearly anymore? You're dealing with these primal instincts and you just react. You're not thinking through it, you're just reacting. That's what they call amygdala hijack. Now, there's not a lot you can do when you're in the middle of an amygdala hijack rather than breathe to bring yourself back into homeostasis. And from my experience, if you see somebody stuck in that cycle and you ask them to calm down, that's not a good idea. You're going to get your head bitten off. But even sometimes telling them to breathe can be difficult, and they might get upset. They're like, I'm fine, I'm breathing. It's kind of like asking a woman if she's PMS. Not a good idea. However, we love to mirror each other. So if you're stuck and not able to think things through, just having the awareness or programming in your mind, which you can do, by the way. Breathe, just breathe. I had a neighbor that under stress, she'd turn her head and push her hands out, like stopping what was happening, and she would take a breath. It was automatic. She did it every time. So you can train your mind to slow down, pause, take a breath. If it's somebody else, still you pause, take a breath, slow your breathing, and listen to them. And over the course of a couple of minutes, they will start to mirror your breathing, and it will bring them back into homeostasis, out of the amygdala hijack, so that they can think consciously again. Okay, enough with that side note. Back into the manifestation flow chart. Let's go back to my question. What do you think is the most important thing? Now, when I most recently taught this class, somebody said it's actually the emotions. What we're feeling is what we use to create things. So the most important thing is managing your emotions, which was an excellent answer. Very good answer. That's definitely a step. That's like watching the progression of the human species. We used to think back in the days of the 80s or the Zig Ziglar and all of those, you just need to do something different, and you do it after 21 days, it becomes a habit. Now we're understanding emotions, and we're not so scared about feeling the emotions. So these emotions, if we learn how to manage them, can create. Yes or no? I would say yes. But something happens even before that. There's something that happens so closely sometimes because it's automatic that we don't think about it. And that is actually our thoughts. Something causes you to feel the way you do, right? You don't just, sometimes we wake up feeling sad or happy, but that's usually what has happened in our sleep cycle, in our dreams, or our first response as we recognize I'm awake. The emotions come. But there's something that causes the emotions. Do you know what it is? I just said it. It's something we think. It's the thought line. Our thought line is so important. The thought triggers the emotion. And sometimes it's hand in hand. We think, well, this sucks, and in comes the emotion. But what if we could pause? What if we could pause and do things differently? When we're looking at the thought line, there are some questions that I like to ask. Number one is, what do I make this mean about me? So going back to my analogy, I'm going 20 miles an hour in a 65 mile hour zone, and I need to get home to feed my kids and let the babysitter go home. And what is she going to think about me because I'm late? And is she going to be mad at me? Or my children, whatever. So these are all the thoughts that play out. The most important thought is, what do I make this mean about me? So if I think this means I'm not a good mom, I'm frustrated because I'm a person of my word, and if I get home late to let the babysitter go home, I'm not a person of my word because I was late. So that means I'm not good enough. Do you see what I'm saying? The other thing that's a very helpful question to ask is, where did I learn to think this? Okay, so you're in traffic, you're going slow in traffic, and you're feeling the emotions come up because you're thinking this sucks. Where did you learn that from? Did the person that taught you how to drive react that way? Have you seen it on TV a number of times? Have you seen your significant other or friends, family? Have you seen other people respond that way? And so now it's a societal norm to get angry in traffic? I don't know. I can tell you what it is for me, but what is it for you? That's what you want to get to. And then you can ask the question, is that helpful? I personally don't think it's very helpful to think in terms of good or bad, wrong or right. I find that it's more helpful for me and for my clients if you look at something and say, is this beneficial? Is this helping me get to where I want to be? Is this thought going to help me become the person I know I was meant to be, or the person that I know is already inside of me? If it's not, then it's a clue that it's time to change the thought. Okay, so after you have the thought and you ask those questions and you think about, okay, is there another way I could feel? What's another possibility? Okay, so I'm stuck in traffic. There's nothing I can do. There's no turnoff that would help me get to my destination quicker. I'm on this freeway for the next 10 miles before I can get to an exit to get out of it. Okay, let's just say that. Do you see me building the story as I go? All right, so I've got 10 miles of going 20 miles per hour. I'm not going to do the math right now, but that's a good amount of time. What if my thought was, oh, I now have time to finish that podcast I wanted to listen to. Or I get to decompress after being at work. Or I get to think about what I'm going to do with my family when I get home. I am going to record my thoughts. I'm going to, there's so many possibilities that you can use that time for if you let go of the part that sucks. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. When I asked you what other things could you think about, what was another possibility, what did you come up with? What can you do in the car when you're going 20 miles per hour and you can't really change anything? There are many circumstances that we can't change, literally, but we can always change how we think about it. Okay, moving on to the emotion. We know that emotion, now we know at least, it always has a physical response. Okay, so knowing that the thought, this sucks, which brings angst, is now causing pressure on my physical body. It's now, it's like if you and your body are best friends, you've got your mind, your thoughts, your brain, your spirit, whatever, and you've got this magnificent vehicle that you're in, right? I hope you think that. I believe that this avatar, this body, this creation, this is so amazing. I can do so many things. I can smell, I can see, I can breathe, I can run, I can play, I can feel pain, I can hurt, all the feels, and I love it. So if you're connected and you want to take care of this vehicle, then probably not a good idea to live in turmoil in your gut all the time. So with this automatic response, and often it's a subconscious response, we don't feel like we have a lot of control, but I want you to understand that emotions and feelings are not part of you. It's something you create, like a smile or a frown. It's just something we can do as humans. It's a really cool trick, and our body will react to the emotion we decide to feel. So as soon as you take control, take your own power, and decide, oh, I'm the one choosing this emotion. I'm going to hang that back up because that doesn't feel very good. I'm going to choose peace. So in the car while I'm stuck in traffic, I'm going to choose to breathe and feel peace and even feel relief that now I have an extra 20, 30, 40 minutes that I don't have to give to anybody. That's the way I'm going to choose to think in this flow chart. I'm going to put in, well, isn't this cool? That's my thought. Isn't this cool? When I think the thought, isn't this cool? I start to feel curiosity. I can look around and see, well, we're going really slow. People around me look angry and I feel like this is cool. Well, yeah, who doesn't need a little more me time? Okay, so one helpful thing when you're working with emotions is to think or ask, where am I feeling this in my body? Just like I did with you a few minutes before. Where do you feel the excitement? Where do you feel the sadness? All right, so where in the scenario of the traffic, where are you feeling the feeling that comes up for you when you're stuck going 20 miles an hour? Where in your body? The reason this is important and helpful is because it helps you understand that since it's in my body, I can move it. I can take it out. It's not a part of me. So it just helps you differentiate where you are and what layers you're putting on yourself. Okay? Because then you can take those layers off and see things more critically or clinically. The other thing is asking yourself, is this a response that I can control? So remember that amygdala, the amygdala hijack we were talking about. If you have this automatic response, which is linked to emotion, and sometimes it feels very big. PTSD is when post-traumatic stress syndrome. We're stepping into a memory of something that was traumatic or stressful, and that same emotion that we tied way back here comes up when the thought comes up. We have the emotion sandwiched into it. It's attached, like an attachment on the computer. But can you take the knob and dial down the emotion, or can you amplify it? I know you can. It's just, are you aware that you can? Do you do it yourself? Sometimes when we're really angry, we feel like we can't do anything about it, and you just need to get out of my way because I'm just in a rage and I've lost control. Amygdala hijack. What is something that you can do to help you monitor that dial, to help you bring it down or help you bring it up, whatever it is that you want? Breath. Breath is the number one thing that you can do to bring your body back into homeostasis. As you slow your breath, notice how I'm talking slower as I slow my breath because I'm excited to share this with you. Now I'm coming back into homeostasis where I'm balanced, I feel peace, I'm in the now. Are you there with me? Take a couple slow breaths. And if you can, bring the breath down to your diaphragm, your belly. See if you can make your belly go in and out as you breathe. That belly breathing is something we do with meditation, with yoga, with singing. If you're a singer, you know you use your diaphragmatic breathing. This will help you come into homeostasis. It triggers your vagus nerve, not Las Vegas, but the vagus nerve that runs through your spine and gauges so many things. But one of the things it does is helps bring you back into homeostasis, into that parasympathetic, away from fight or flight. Now you're going into rest and digest. Rest and digest is where we heal our bodies. Rest and digest is where we make babies. Our fertility is linked to this autonomic nervous system. So breathing, you think, well, of course I breathe. It's natural. I do it automatically. But breathing properly if you haven't breathed properly since you were a kid, take some conscious effort sometimes. So give it a try. That brings you back in to where you do have control over those emotions. Okay? And then we move into our action or inaction, because action can be action or inaction or reaction. Are we thinking through how we want to act, or is it automatic, like that amygdala hijack, that subconscious programming that we keep falling into, that hamster wheel? Okay? What do you do mostly? Are you acting consciously, or are you just reacting to your circumstances, the facts of life? How are you reacting? Okay. So in that, we have our conscious behaviors, our subconscious behaviors, and the subconscious behaviors I want to tell you a secret about. You may think I don't have any control over my subconscious, it's automatic. Well, some point along the line, you programmed that subconscious reaction or thought. Now, it may have been on an unconscious level that you programmed it, or allowed someone else to program it for you, your family, your religion, your shows that you watch on TV, the music that you listen to, the friends that you choose to talk to, the society around you. We are programmed all the time. Advertisers, they know how this works, and that's why they'll put music to it. They entice you with all of these triggers to grab you and hold your attention. So the programming, is it the actions that you're doing, is it programming, subconscious programming, or are you consciously deciding, I'm going to put on a podcast and feel peace? Okay, that's the first question. The next thing to think about in your action or reaction or inaction is this the way I want to behave? Is this the way I normally behave? Is this the way I want to behave? Or is this something that I've just seen and I'm just monkey see, monkey do? Okay? And either way, it's up to you how you want to be. I'm not telling you have to change anything at all. I just want you to be conscious on what you can change, the ability, show you what you can do. This is also in our reaction or action. This is where we get our personality. This is how it shows up. We have lots of people that will, you hear phrases like, oh, he's just such an angry man. And, or what else do we hear? She's a happy person. She's just so peaceful. You know, we get tagged with how we act or react, and that is how our peers see us. They view us by the actions that we show to the world. Okay, the question there is, do you like what you're showing people? Are you showing the world what you are intending to? Or do you find yourself at night going, oh, I can't believe I did that again. I wasn't going to do that this time. I know I spend plenty of nights in that mode, but now at least I can look through it and I can put everything into a manifestation flowchart and see what the thoughts problems are and correct them. It's okay. We're human. We make mistakes, but the more we learn and we're aware of it and we accept it the way it is, then we can shift into an adjustment where we can change. All right, and then because our actions create our reality, we manifest what we want or don't want through this whole flow. Do you see that now? I hope you do. Okay. Let's just put all of the pieces back into the manifestation flowchart now with my new thought and just see how that works out. So the fact is still the same. I'm going 20 miles an hour in a 65-mile-per-hour zone. Instead of the thought, this sucks, my thought now is, well, this is cool, more me time. My emotion is, I just got a gift. If this really is cool, it's like, well, this was unexpected. I get some more me time. Huh, thanks. It feels good in my body. And with that thought and emotion, then I can be at peace. I can take inaction because there's not a lot I can do in the car, or my action might be to listen to a podcast. Maybe I'm going to call my kids and let them know, hey, I'm going 20 miles an hour. I'm getting home as fast as I can, but let's go over homework right now so that when I get home, we're just going to do dinner and movie night. Maybe that's just me making things up. But there are so many ways now that my mind can think about how I can utilize this extra time because I'm at peace. Because I'm thinking clearly, I'm in my frontal cortex and thinking through what the possibilities are because I'm calm, because I see it the way it is clearly. And that's what we want. We want to see reality as it is, not better, not worse. Just it is what it is, that fact line. Okay? So when I choose to act in peace, in joy, in gratitude, then I can get things accomplished that I can do in the car, or I can just turn everything off and be at peace with myself and meditate. The manifestation is the new reality. The new reality goes along with my thought line, with this is pretty cool. Life is so cool. So there's a saying that you'll find what you're looking for, no matter what it is. And that is, I found that to be so true. Our thoughts, our minds are so powerful. Did you know that it's more important for our subconscious mind to feel right than it is to feel good? And we love to fill in the blanks and make connections. So if you say something, your mind is continuing to look for it. So if I say, this sucks, my mind is now looking for all of the reasons to validate the thought, this sucks. Do you see what I'm saying? On the flip side, if I say, well, this is pretty cool, then my mind searches for all of the reasons to validate this is really cool. And so then we manifest our reality. Now, if I were in this scenario and I'm at peace and I'm calm and I'm ready to think and react properly, maybe I can hear my phone when I get the call that I have the job interview I was looking for. Or maybe because I'm listening and I'm at peace, when I call to let my children know that I'm going to be a little bit late, I can hear in my daughter's voice that she really needs to talk privately anyway. And now she can go to her room and we can have a private conversation and nobody even knows we're having a private conversation. Do you see what I'm saying? So you get all of these new possibilities when you are in alignment with who you want to be. So part of the creation isn't necessarily the big mansion or the yacht or the sports car or the better job. Because what are those things really going to bring you? It's not the stuff that we're trying to manifest. It's the feeling, it's the character, it's the who we want to be and show up as that we think we're going to get when we attain all of these outside things. I promise you, my friend, what we want from the things you're trying to manifest is more important than the actual things. Quick story. My son, when he was, I think about 16, he started making money at a job. He decided a goal that he wanted to set was to get a Rolex. And I'm thinking, a Rolex for a 16-year-old. Do you know how expensive those are? And at that time, I didn't know what I know now. And so I actually tried to talk him out of it. Is there, like, what about a car? What about, there's so many things that you could want that put in your goal chart rather than a Rolex that's going to take so long. It's so far out there and seemingly unattainable for a 16-year-old. Well, he's a pretty smart kid. What he wanted was something big to reach for. It wasn't about the Rolex. Within just a few short years, he could have gotten a Rolex. Instead, he didn't care as much about a Rolex anymore. He got a Tesla, but it was never about the Rolex. It was about the feeling he wanted by being able to attain and buy that Rolex on his own, which he was able to do with his home, with his Tesla, with his many other things. Because the feelings he wanted was, I can take care of myself. I'm successful. I know how to manage my money. Um, I can afford luxury items. So all of these things, and really, if you want to go a little bit deeper, which we do in our program, then it goes into more thoughts and emotions of, why do you want to feel this way? Why does it matter if you can buy luxury items? What does that mean about me? Remember that thought line. What does this thought mean about me? And that is the ultimate goal that we're looking for. And when you uncover how you feel about yourself and how you want to feel about yourself, that's when the game of manifestation reaches a whole new level. Because then you start to realize, I don't need any of these things. I'm just going to work on creating that feeling of that belief and that faith that I already am those things. I just need to show up in life that way. So what do you think? Are you ready for another model? Let's take a look at my class now and see how they move from after I'm starting the video from after they've learned the basic information. And now we're going to see how Annie applied this to a goal that she was working on.
Any thoughts? What are your thoughts as you're learning this? What are the thoughts that are popping in? Who wants to go?
I have a thought. I learned something today. I always thought that if you wanted to change your reality, change your feeling, because then you'll attract more of what you're feeling because of the energy vibration match.
Yeah.
Now I realize if you just change your feeling, you're covering up that thought and it's still there and it's still going to pop up. But if you change your thought, then you've grown.
Yes. And then you don't even have to worry about forcing the emotion to change vibration so you get what you want. It just happens. You flow right on up there. So it makes it easy. I'm so glad. Thank you. Yay. Pat yourself on the back. I love those ahas. And that is exactly, you just stated 95% of the work in manifestation. Because you can draw charts about vibration, here's your goal, and you go all of the things. And it comes down to my thoughts, because your thoughts are the beginning of the creation of everything. That's the okay, one of the laws I won't stay on, but next week, wait till you see the laws. There's the law of perpetual transmutation, and that's the bringing things into reality. It starts it's the pieces of creation are all up in the ether, and then you have an idea, and it pulls together some of the things into an idea. It's a thought, and then you add emotion, and it starts churning. starts churning in your mind, and then it goes into your body, and you add more energy, and it gets bigger and bigger. And then when you've created it, you've seen it, you add vision, you visualize, what is this going to be like? Oh my gosh, I love it. It's so exciting. And so then it gets bigger and bigger. And when it's so big that you can't keep it inside your body, pop, it comes into reality. And that's in existence. But while it's still inside of you, you can block it and push it and make it smaller, depending on how you want to think and feel about it. And then it just goes backwards and goes up into the ether, and somebody else grabs that same idea. So that's thank you. Yay. Okay. So here, this is now your new pattern. We're going to test it with Annie. Is that okay, Annie?
Sure.
Okay. So in the fact line, we have to just have one fact. On your fact line, then you're going to write okay, so now this is tricky. You can say your room is cluttered, but that's not actually a fact, because compared to a hoarder, that room might look great.
I would probably put the word unorganized, because when we had to move everything, stuff got pulled from where it was and just shoved where it fit.
Okay, so you have there things that don't belong there. So I keep thinking, I'm like, well, somebody could fight that. It does belong there because it's there. You might want it to belong somewhere else.
Or I want to find it when I need it.
Okay.
My
So
things are in many different places.
let's just say you have 10 boxes in your room. I don't know how many there are, but let's just say there's 10 boxes. And that represents there are 10 extra boxes in my room.
Okay.
Well, okay, so Cody says if it wasn't organized, then unorganized could technically be a fact. Except when you think of the fact line, you have to think about who could fight that. If I was in front of a judge, is there anybody that could say, it is organized? They're all in the one room. They're not all over your house making clutter everywhere. It's organized in that one room. So you have to play the opposite side, devil's advocate, whatever you want to say, until you get it down to the fact. The fact is you have 10 boxes there, and everybody can look at the room and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 10 boxes.
Yeah, there are more boxes in there than to be able to function in the room.
Okay, so, and do you see where that's a thought also?
Yeah.
And that's okay.
It goes through the room, but I can't actually use the room for something other than what's in there.
There you go. That was jarbled. Say that again.
Sorry. This is Joyce. I'd like to jump into when you're done.
Oh, hey Joyce. Go ahead. What's your thought?
The fact is that she's uncomfortable in that room or that space. Maybe the whole apartment is uncomfortable. I don't think in a court of law that could be argued against. She feels uncomfortable.
Yes, because so if you said, I feel uncomfortable, that is a fact. That's a fact.
So then the thought, I try to think of the thought as a belief that's been formed. If she can go back in time and think, is this something that's repeated in my life where I'm in an uncomfortable space? Then she could find the root belief. And here, I see how you're calling it a thought, but I have so many thoughts, like I gotta go open the microwave or whatever. And so I differentiate it by saying belief of form that's been formed, and that's why it's repeating.
Yeah.
So,
so let's do that. Annie, are you uncomfortable with that room?
Yes.
So then you can make that statement. I am uncomfortable with the way this room looks. Okay, and that can be proven. Everybody heard her agree that she feels uncomfortable. Annie is uncomfortable. That's uncomfortable, not unconscious. Because these are so big now. Okay. When you think about, I'm uncomfortable with this room the way it is. What's your thought about the room the way it is?
My thought that it's messy. I can't feel like I can eat. Okay, now you're making me think more.
That's good. That's what we want.
I always feel like not just the room is disorganized, but I'm disorganized.
Okay, so now you're going back to those questions. What does this mean about me? If my room is disorganized, I'm unorganized. So there we go. I'm unorganized. And how does the thought, I'm unorganized, make you feel?
It makes me feel frustrated. And I was the kid with the messiest bedroom in the house growing up, and it always drove my mother nuts because I never kept my room clean. And that's probably where it all started from, is because I was always an unorganized child.
Okay, and it makes you frustrated because, and see, now here's where you can go back. When's the first time I remember feeling that same frustration? Back when you were a child with an unorganized room. And what did you make that back there? Now you're going, wait, I'm skipping ahead. Ooh, I'm skipping ahead. Okay. When you feel frustrated because you think you're disorganized, then what do you do? What do you do? Well, how long have you lived there?
We've been here for 4 years.
Okay, you've been there 4 years, and you felt frustrated about that room for how long?
Since the day we moved in, because everything when we moved in got put in there. There are still boxes that are unopened in there from the day we moved in.
Okay, so when you look at that room and you feel the frustration because you're telling yourself the story, I'm unorganized, and so far you haven't done it.
I forgot what A stands for.
Action. Your action or inaction. So in this case, you're taking the action of inaction. Do you feel like overwhelmed? It's too much. I don't know where to start. I need some help.
This is where the I need some help came in, because I'm literally down from when we first moved in. I have 3 boxes left that are unopened from the day we moved in.
Mm-hmm.
So I've slowly been whittling away at it, but I haven't been able to bring myself to open those 3 boxes either.
Okay.
So isn't the actions the thing she's doing that she typically does every day instead of opening those boxes? So like,
no, the action is correlating specifically with the reality as it is because of the thought. So
yeah,
her action
instead of the action. I mean, the action is watching TV or whatever.
Yes, the action is anything besides doing, and it could be all good things, like, because I definitely had a room like that too, and I would give myself the excuse or blame it on the fact that, well, I'm a good mom. I have to cook for my family. I have to run the PTO. I have to do these 3 church callings. I have to anything but the one thing that's making me feel the frustration. So you could go up into the thought line, could also be the thought is, I need help. I'm unorganized. I need help. You see that thought. But right now we're going to just keep going with this one. When you're frustrated because you're unorganized because of the room, your action is inaction.
I do what I need to just to get through the day. So I end up diverting to
Okay.
my task list.
Okay. So your action is diversion into doing like I said, oh, I have all of these other things to do. I don't have time. Right.
Yeah.
And then your new fact is Annie's unorganized.
Yep.
Right? So the interesting thing is when we have thoughts that aren't helpful, this manifestation is going to be the same.
Yeah,
Or
and
very,
in this case, my mom was right about me.
yes, because that's a new thought line. So now you have the thought, I'm still unorganized. So now you can do so many different thought lines and the whole thing. Okay, so the same thing is Annie is unorganized. Actually, that's a lie. Annie says she's unorganized. You see that? Wait, that's not, what did I say? It's not unconscious, uncomfortable. And the thought is you're unorganized. Okay, so do you see where, so now you can go back to the same thing. I'm still uncomfortable with my life situation. And now you can make the thought, because I need somebody to help me. The thought is, my mom still doesn't approve of me. Do you have that thought?
I do.
Okay.
My mom, when I had my hysterectomy last year, my mom told me to my face that she would not help me get my house organized before my surgery to where it was at least functioning clean.
And does that statement mean more about you or her?
I think it's a little of both. It hurt me because she was unwilling to help me, but I also understand that the state of my house causes her anxiety.
Okay. So that's good. You're taking responsibility for, okay, I have my part. I've created this situation of unorganization. But to take responsibility for it is what it is. I feel uncomfortable because I think I'm unorganized. And where did the story that you're unorganized come from? You already told us kind of.
From my mom when I was a kid.
Because she's comparing your room to her room?
To my siblings.
To siblings.
7.
Okay. Okay. So you have 7 siblings. So probably there was a lot of chaos. And when moms, sure, I can fall into that. I can attest to that. When there's chaos, you feel chaos inside. When your outside world reflects your inside world, and you have this one piece. And oh my gosh, if we had time, I could go spin off on what that could mean to her about her parenting. But what if, like, were you ever in danger in your room?
No.
Did it endanger anybody else's life?
No.
So could you have, well, you did. You lived your whole life until you moved out in that state, in that amount of organization or disorganization.
Yeah.
So did it?
Oh. But really what this is about is that her mom was uncomfortable. And
Yes.
her mom wouldn't walk with her and teach her how to organize. Her mom wouldn't, show her the way. Maybe her mom is unorganized.
Well, that's a thought. Mom could totally be organized, and but that's a thought also. Mom should have helped me.
Knowing what I know now about my mom then, she was going through her own depressed at the time, and I didn't know that as a teenager. But I do know that.
Yeah, that's kind of like me and my mother-in-law. Because when you're a teenager, you make everything about you, right? That's what we do. That's the world revolves around every teenager. And
And it
so,
doesn't matter what planted it there, it just is the fact.
yeah,
She formed a belief
exactly.
about herself and about the way the world is, and is manifesting that ever since.
Yes. So now let's clean it up. Oh, I'm going to delete it all. Is there, okay, so we know where it came from. Your thought came from when you were a child. Your mom was frustrated with your messy room, but you haven't stated clearly what that meant about you. What did you make that mean about you?
I don't know. It was, I don't know. That maybe I was lazy, or I just lacked drive, or what, I don't know. There's more that I wasn't good enough for those around me.
There you go. There you go. You made that mean I wasn't good enough. And it wasn't even your feelings. It was your mom's. It was your mom's standards. What if you had different standards of clean and organized and you were functionable? You weren't in danger and you weren't endangering anybody else. You just had different standards and they made her feel uncomfortable. And so you made that story, I'm not good enough. Is that a lie or a truth?
It's a lie.
That's a lie. Okay, so now
You have to write that down because that's the belief she formed. It is the belief she formed. And so that's what she would process on.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So the thought is really the core thought. You can have all those other thoughts you talked about, but the core thought is I'm some form of not enough. And when you feel like you're not enough, what is the energy? What is the feeling? Does it feel good?
No.
No. It feels, the emotion is, what is the emotion? Is it anger? Is it set depression? Is it worthless? What? Despair?
Mostly worthless.
Okay. And then, and when you're feeling that way, you don't really feel like doing anything, do you?
No.
No. Okay, I want you to take a couple deep, slow breaths. Everybody breathe with her. And breathe it into your belly. Breathe in, because you can feel the tightness. Where do you feel the tightness in your body when you think I'm worthless?
My shoulders.
Okay, that's what I see. So let's all do this. Let's roll our shoulders. Move your back. Now move them up and down. Like get a little groove going. And now push them up tight, 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 tight to your ears, and then throw them down. Okay, now take a deep breath. Do it again. Take a deep breath and pull them up tight, tight, tight. And throw them down. Okay, do you feel the relaxation coming a little bit? Okay, all right. Now I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to allow that feeling to, that relaxation in your shoulders. I want you to let that flow down through the rest of your body. Yeah, just lean back in the chair. We're just going to relax a little bit. So you found the lie. The lie is that you feel worthless, and that's not true, is it? No. What is the truth, Annie? What is the truth about you now? What is the truth about you back when you were 7, 8, 9, 10 years old? What was the truth about you?
I am good enough.
Yeah. Have you always been good enough?
Yes,
Okay, I want you to say that. I've always been good enough.
I've always been good enough.
Now I want you to say, actually, I want you to find those tender spots right here. And I want you to just tap like this while we're talking. Okay, I want you to go back and say, I've always been good enough.
I've always been good enough.
Okay, repeat after me. Even though I have a messy room in my house,
Even though I have a messy room in my house,
I'm still good enough.
it's still good enough.
I've always been good enough.
I've always been good enough.
I always will be good enough.
I always will be good enough.
Okay, deep breath. And I want you to blow away the feelings of not good enough. Blow them right out of you. Okay, one more deep breath. And I want you to imagine and visualize as you blow out that not good enough. What does it look like as you get that not good enough outside of your body? Blow it out. What color is that not good enough?
Gray smoke.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What color is it?
Gray.
Gray. Okay. And now, if it were to rest in front of you, up above you, does it have a shape? Is it like mist, or is it solid? Is it a hard? Is it a square? What kind of shape does that not good enough take?
It's like a smoky.
A snow pea?
Smoky.
Smoky. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. All right. So I want you to see first, I want you to scan your body. Is not good enough anywhere inside of you still? Okay, it's all just smoky in front of you, gray smoke, probably heavy, but it's outside of you because you are good enough. You've always been good enough. Okay, I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to just blow that smoke away. Everybody help her. Deep breath. Blow it away. Without the feeling, I'm not good enough. If you truly know inside, I've always been enough. What is the new thought that you can choose when you go back in time and you see and hear your mom say what she said? What's another way you can think about it?
Just let her know I have a different way of doing things than she does.
Yeah. And then her response to that is, that's her feelings. That's her fact line. That's her creating her own manifestation of her reality. What if there was, in her mind, everything's organized, and then there's this one piece that she just can't seem to clean up in her head, and it's displayed in your room. And so that's where she takes it out on. You ever heard the kick the dog syndrome?
Yes.
Yeah. What if you were the dog in that scenario? It had nothing to do with you.
I'm pretty sure I was a lot of times.
Yeah. So with that idea, is it more or less empowering to be able to organize it? Because why do you want to organize it?
I just want to not feel cluttered.
You want to not feel clutter? Is that what you said?
Yeah, in part that, and I realized some of the reason I was trying to do things in my home to get it organized was for my mother, and I didn't realize it until now.
There you go. And the rebellious part of your mind, when you are doing something for somebody else, there's that teenager going, hell no, I don't want to. And so then you've got the cognitive dissonance where you're fighting against, but I want a beautiful, lovely, organized home because I want to feel lovely and organized inside my mind. But if you're doing it for her, it's the wrong reasons. So now that you understand that, what's a new reason? What does it feel like when you walk into your house and everything's in its place?
Feels better.
Yeah. What specifically? How does it feel in your head when you have
I feel
that
like
stuff?
my to-do things are no longer on my list.
Yeah. So now can you see where having this new thought line and new belief about you and new reason for your goal? So the goal you're going, and this is important for everybody to understand because you all have this same stuff, not exactly the same feelings and whatever that come up, but you have stuff that's coming up that's keeping you from what you want. So it's all the same thing. When you shift the why, does it feel easier to and more empowering to do what you want to do?
It does.
Good. Okay. I just want, because you're listening to me and not following the chat, I want, Cody says, coming to class like this and being brave enough to open up and talk about it shows intense courage and the ability to organize your thoughts and emotions. You're amazing, Annie. So, do you believe that? Does that sound true?
I think so.
Yes, yes, it is true. In fact, I want to point out that you are the number one person that first started. I think you shared your intro video first. I believe you watched all the videos first and you commented on them. So that shows me you are organized. What other ways in your life are you already organized? Because remember, in the court of law, somebody could go in and say, Annie's so organized.
I keep a day planner.
There you go. Okay, there's one. What's another one?
90% of the time, my movies are alphabetized.
What? Okay, that's worlds above me. How else are you so organized?
The picture of my room being messy, that wall of bins, is actually each bin is one project.
So you're literally organized within your disorganization.
Yeah.
So actually, you have been lying this whole time. You are a super organized person. And it sounds to me, this is my perception, that you've been holding on to this disorganization piece just to spite your mother.
Probably.
Because you had to go back. So this is the process, you guys. You sometimes you have to go back to that initial sensitizing event. The sensitizing event for you was feeling like you weren't good enough because your mom was judging your room against your siblings. And that was the lie. You probably were organized as a teenager too. You were probably so organized in the ways that you were organized that you just didn't care about your room. It doesn't matter. I don't care if my clothes are on the floor. I'm focused on my schoolwork or my friends or my thoughts. I'm learning things. It's priorities, right?
Yeah.
But now that you're an adult, you see the value in being organized in your space. So now you have this one piece. And as you organize, continue to finish that room and get everything in its place or get rid of it, because this is key. When we have clutter, the outside world reflects your inside world and vice versa. If there's not a thing, a place for it, you get rid of it. You gift it, you give away, you sell it. And just like inside your mind, you're holding on to clutter that needs to be let go. Like the assumptions of how your mother feels about you. Like the lies that you've been telling yourself. Are you willing and ready to let those go?
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't it feel good when you recognize, like, geez, I've been organized this whole time? Okay, so there's the process. Annie, you share your thoughts, and then I want anybody and everybody else to share. Oh, and Marianne's on too. There's a bunch of people popped on that I didn't see because I only have 4 people up in my thing. Oh my gosh, let me just get out of this. How about? Look, there's more people. Marianne says, or Jennifer says, amazing. Marianne says, way to go, Annie. And Joy says, amen, Cody. So she agrees that you are organized with your thoughts and emotions. Thanks for pointing that out, Cody. Thank you so much for letting us use you as a guinea pig. How do you feel?
I feel better. I feel like I still have more to do and more to go, but
Oh, wait a second. There are 2 very key things that I left out that I need to finish. So go ahead and lean back and relax. And take a deep breath. You blew away all of that I'm not good enough. You've chosen the belief and the truth that I've always been enough and always will be enough. So there's the replacement. When you let go of something, nature abhors it's a vacuum. You can't have a hole there. You have to fill it. So you're filling it with, I've always been good enough. What else? What else do you need to fill that space, that pain that you've now carved up a space? What else do you want to put in there? And it can be anything. What is the reality that you want to manifest?
I want to be able to just keep decluttering what I've got in the house.
Okay.
I feel like I need to stop.
Okay, so you are organized. Okay, go back to the tapping. Deep breath. I am organized.
I am organized.
I am organized in so many ways.
I'm organized in so many ways.
Everybody will be able to see how organized I am.
Everybody will be able to see how organized I am.
And the people that don't are blind.
And the people that don't are blind.
Because I am organized.
Because I am organized.
Because I want to be organized.
Because I want to be organized.
I choose to be organized.
I choose to be organized.
Because it benefits me.
Because it benefits me.
It benefits my family.
It benefits my family.
Deep breath. And blow it out. Now, I have a couple of questions for you. I want you to go in your mind back to teenage Annie, or maybe it was little girl Annie. I want you to think and see her face and feel her feelings when mom's yelling at her about being messier than her siblings. Can you forgive Annie for not being organized in just that one way? Okay, say, I forgive you, Annie.
I forgive you, Annie.
Can you forgive that little girl for feeling she wasn't good enough?
I forgive you for not feeling good enough.
And can you forgive mom for her mistakes?
Forgive my mother for her mistakes.
Okay. There might be some more that needs to come up still with this, but you have the process still. One more deep breath and blow it out. As you blow it out, I want you to just feel the forgiveness wash over you. Feel the love. Feel the beauty. Feel your relationship with yourself. Feel you and little Annie working together. And I want you to tell that little girl inside your head, I'm going to help you. It's okay that mom didn't help us. I'm here now. I'm going to help you. You and me together. You're strong enough, wise enough, everything enough. Okay, one more deep breath. And I just want you to allow yourself to accept all these new truths. This is a lot of new stuff. Accept and be grateful. Okay. And now with this deep breath, go ahead and come forward. And I want you to look at me, and I want everybody to look at my face. Now, just listening to the process, you're already in a shallow state of hypnosis. And everybody listening, that just happens. That's just natural. That's the way we do things. So now I want to make sure you're fully forward focused for your day so you're not gullible. Okay? So everybody see my hand, see the M, see my green thing, look around see my cute grandbaby. Okay, now I want you to listen. What do you hear in your room besides my voice? Pull in the auditory. What do you taste in your mouth? My toothpaste is worn off. Okay, take a deep breath, and you can now transverse it. You can take a deep breath into your upper chest, upper cavity, and then that's going to bring up some energy, help you be fully focused. How's everybody feel about what you learned today? Anybody want to share a thought or idea or aha?
I just want to say this was amazing. Annie, thank you so much. And I appreciate all that you shared. And I could relate, and I had some aha moments because of it. And Ruthie, this class has been fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm glad you had a good time. This is just the beginning, you guys. This is week 3. Just wait. And I want everybody to just keep the idea of that. I don't know why I do that. In the future, my goal, my thoughts, what I would like to do in these live Zooms, because we have 2 more left, is to do just what we did. I'm going to have a teaching piece that I'm going to keep brief. And then I want to be able for people that have been going through the process and you feel like you may be stuck and you're like, okay, I get it. I've done the thought model. I still doesn't make sense. I can't stop feeling this way. And then we'll do the same process. And the next time, maybe we'll do a little, even a deeper hypnosis for anybody that would be willing to be brave enough to do it in front of everybody, like Annie. So yay, high five for Annie for being so brave. And you didn't even know what I was going to do. But you can trust the process, right? And now you guys know that you're safe in the pain. When the pain comes up and the tears flow, we want the tears to flow. And Marianne reminded me with the tapping, there's a, you know what I'm going to put in the underneath this video, I'm going to put a tapping video, because tapping, if you haven't done tapping yet, emotional freedom technique is what it's called. It's so valuable for helping you set in the patterns. You can also do the eye movements, because we have different quadrants in our brain, and moving your eyes to different areas, up, down, over, up, they will solidify what you're saying. So I'm going to give you those other tools as well. So things that you can do on your own. Everything, all of the different tools, if you know, we want to be forward focused with what we want to put in our head. And thinking through, maybe spell out the model. The times when the model is not going to be helpful is when you have a subconscious belief that's fighting those thoughts that you want to have. It's like when you stand in the mirror and you look in your own eyes and you say, I see you. I love you. You are more than enough. Did that feel good for everybody? Or was it difficult? The first time I had to do that, I was like 15 or 16 and felt like I might as well slaughtered all the babies and kittens in the world. That's how badly I felt about myself. I never slaughtered any kittens or babies. But my bishop actually told me to do that process. And he said, look at yourself in the eyes and say, I am a child of God. Some people have their own relationship issues with God alone. So I want you to see yourself and say, I love you. But there might, when you go through the process, you might have a thought, well, I want to think this. I know cognitively it's going to be beneficial for me to think this, but I just can't do it. And of course, that's a lie, because the can't. Every time you say I can't, your brain is going, oh, okay, we don't need to even work on that. We can't do it. It's a block, right? I block myself by saying I can't. I block myself by saying I don't know. Instead, say, what if you did know? Let's pretend. Let's pretend. What if I could? But anyway, that's the type of scenario that I want to work with, so that everybody can learn from you. Because raise your hand, everybody learned from Annie today? Yes. Annie's like, yes, I did. I learned from me. So cool. And we've got Cody's clapping and Marianne raised her hand. That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming and showing up here today, you guys. I know it's never a convenient time because we all have busy lives. Is there anything anybody else wants to say or comment or ask? If we've got like 9 minutes.
Sorry. I just want to say thanks to Annie. I learned so much from you, and that was super helpful for me too.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I have, in this 1 hour that we've gone through this, it put together everything that I have learned from maybe 10 years of studying and learning about the power of our thoughts, the power of our emotions, our past and how that affects us through mental health therapists and through coaches and through mindfulness coaching, all of the things that I love that I've learned about how to live a powerful life and how to create the life, the person that we want to create. It's in this 1 hour that you've done. So I'm just amazed at how you tied it all together, kind of summarized all the things that I have learned and that I love, that I see the just the value of it and the power of it. It's
I'm
awesome.
so glad you were here today, Sherry. Thank you for sharing. It is, we've, everything that we learn in our lives, it's like I was talking about perpetual transmutation. You've got all these bits in your brain and all around you. And now we start connecting the dots and we make it more solidified. And by the end of these 8 weeks, we've got 5 more left. It's gonna pop outside of you, and that's your new reality. So I'm so glad you're here, you're showing up, you're doing the work. Remember, if it feels hard, it's a thought. It can be fun. It can be easy. Now, sometimes when the triggers hit and the pain is there, the pain is still there, the uncomfortable, whatever pops up in your trigger. But I almost feel a little sadistic because it's fun. When somebody hits me and a trigger pops up, I'm like, yes, thank you, something to work on. and I promise you can do that too. So let the tears flow, let the anger flow, let the fear flow, because then you see it more clearly, but you don't let it take the wheel, right? You see it, okay, here you are, anxiety, how you doing? I know you very well. You're not touching the wheel. Okay, I love you guys. I'm so excited you're here. And I want you to know that I learn just as much as you do. Every time, Marianne can probably attest to this. Every single hypnotherapy session, I learn just as much as you do. So thank you for teaching me along the path. All right, you guys have an amazing day.
Thanks for sharing with us, Ruthie. You're amazing. This has been very, very, very helpful and educational.
Thank you. I'm so glad. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
So what do you think? Is it making more sense now? Do you see how it all comes together? Our reality that we're living right now, we are living and feeling and thinking right here the way we are because of what we've already manifested in our past. What we've manifested in our past is shown up right now in our reality. What is the reality that you want? What do you want to create? If you could create anything within yourself, because remember, that's really the ultimate goal, is we're looking for how to manifest all of these things really so that we can feel good inside, so that we can feel peace, so that we can feel, I came here on this planet for a purpose and I am showing up that way. I am fulfilling my design. All of those things, however you want to put it, there's like a gajillion programs that you can learn from. But the bottom line is you and what you think and how do you feel and what do you want. If you've enjoyed this program, then I ask you to reach out to me and see if you would like to join my group, my 8-week group, Create Your Reality. In that course, we learn about self-hypnosis and we study a whole lot more on the mind, our emotions, our actions, how the subconscious mind works with the conscious mind, what we can do, specific tools, and you're also given a number of guided meditations or self-hypnosis, and I teach you how to create your own guided meditation or self-hypnosis audio so that it's in your own voice, which is powerful, and you say exactly what you want to create and then you listen to it. All of these pieces are important. There are a lot of people teaching the same things I teach. It's not new. This stuff has been around since the beginning of time. If you know how to read it properly or how to see it in between the lines, every sacred text has this model, this as a man thinketh, so is he, from Proverbs. And I wish I knew some from other ancient texts, from the Gita, from the Quran, there's all of these teachings have always been around. Are you listening? Are you able to see? I can help you. So come with me, get on the books, join the Manifestation Create Your Reality course, learn about self-hypnosis for a fraction of the cost. If you were to go to school like I did and pay $6,000 or more to become a hypnotherapist. Now, my course is not going to certify you to become a hypnotherapist, but I will give you the tools and you will understand self-hypnosis and how to work within your own mind to create the reality that you want. Remember, in the beginning of this course, I told you that this model is going to work about 95 to 97% of the time. What I mean by that is that it works when you are able to work through a problem or a scenario consciously. When you have that amygdala hijack and you're just reacting and you don't even know how to get out of it, that's a subconscious thing. That's a program from who knows when. Maybe last week, maybe when you were 5, maybe when you were 6 months old, you learned this program. I don't know, but I know that you know, and I can teach you how to find it. If you're interested, let me know. Send me an email, send me a private message on Facebook, however you want to get a hold of me, and we'll get you on the waiting list. Thank you so much, and take care.